What if Thragg didn't die at the end of Invincible and went back in time way before Mark ever knew the secret of Viltrumites? In this storyline, he opens his eyes back in the Viltrum's throne room. He is given a second chance, but this time he remembers everything. His defeat, the betrayal, Argal's bloodline, and most importantly the rage. His own words echoed in his mind. I've earned my command. I deserve to lead. I'm what our people need. I don't care what is decreed. What your bloodline earns you, you have earned nothing. All you deserve is death. The same words that pushed all other Viltrumites against him. He failed because he believed he deserved to be the ruler of the race that he protected. And everyone else denied him that right. This made him question himself. Was I wrong? So this time he chooses a different path and turns the second life into his ultimate masterpiece. And shout out to my boy Charles Loomis who emailed me to make this same idea while me and the team were making it. Like, you crazy, bro. You literally read my mind. First step in this new path is for him to understand why he failed and eliminate those chances. When all the Viltrumites found out that Nolan and Mark are Argal's bloodline, they just turned their backs on Thragg. Even the Coalition stopped worrying about Viltrumites as a race and instead focused only on Thragg. They sent battle beasts after him, attacked him repeatedly, and finally ganged up on him till he was defeated. Now that he's taking a different path, he has to get to Nolan and Mark early. So he boards his ship. By the time he reaches Earth, Nolan and Mark are in the middle of a heated discussion. Mark has been invincible for a while, and he just witnessed Nolan brutally murdering Immortal for the second time. The father and son are still locked in that tense exchange when Thragg arrives along with the best of his Viltrumite soldiers. All this started from here. So Thragg decides to avoid that fate by changing this exact moment. He attacks Nolan without even saying anything, while Lucan attacks Mark. What the? Nolan is shocked. What the hell is wrong with you, Thragg? Why are you attacking us? Nolan yells out loud. I offered you forgiveness. You refused. I offered you a death, but I still lost. This time I will destroy you and enjoy it while doing it. Thragg proceeds to beat the living daylights out of Nolan. Mark struggles against Lucan. He can't even make one counter move. The fight spans across continents. Then, GDA notices the commotion, naturally, and all superheroes, the teen team, everyone at hand are deployed. But before they can interfere in the fight, Anissa intercepts them with a wicked grin on her face. Like, girl, please. And so Thragg just fixed the root of the issue by destroying Argal's bloodline. But he doesn't know that he screwed himself over by doing just one thing wrong. After beating up Nolan and destroying Mark to his heart's content, Thragg tears their bodies apart and throws them down. Anissa increases the pile around as she kills every superhero that comes at her. Finally, she tore Eve in half and dropped her body in the pile, before all three of them went away. Under Thragg's command, the remaining Viltrumites took over Earth. All major countries are attacked at the same time. The Pentagon is destroyed along with the GDA. More than 1 billion people died in the process. But within a matter of hours, Viltrumites brought the people of Earth to their knees. Thragg addresses the world through a broadcast. We are Viltrumites. We are taking over your planet and you shall obey our rule from now on. We are here to intermingle, interbreed, to ensure that our race will survive. And there is nothing you can do about it. From now on, you are our slaves, and your only job is to produce offspring for our race. If you try to resist, you forfeit your life. The broadcast is straightforward, closing with a gruesome image of all the heroes dead in a pile of blooded bodies. Debbie watches this broadcast from home. Before she can even digest the shock of her husband and son dying, Thragg appears. You are the reason why I lost in the first place. You are the trigger that started the change. He then holds her by her neck, Debbie slowly losing her life. While Thragg is busy taking pleasure in killing her, the pile of bodies he made as a statement is covered now with a bright pink glow. Cecil escaped the attack on GDA with the teleportation device. He reached the place where the heroes lay dead, only to see Eve's body floating in her pink glow surrounding every other dead body. All the heroes, including Nolan and Mark, are revived right there. They come back stronger than before. Cecil uses the teleportation and takes them to a secret base. Then, he demands answers. Why don't you ask him? Mark points at Nolan angrily. Nolan is depressed. He doesn't understand what's happening. Why does Thragg try to kill him? Why did the Viltrumites betray him out of nowhere? He doesn't know, but he does know about who they are and explains it to the rest of the heroes and Cecil. The heroes start planning what to do against Thragg and other Viltrumites. They don't trust Nolan and Mark completely, but they still keep them around for information. Nolan, though, has different plans. he just leaves the planet that very night, and no one knows where he went. They only know that he abandoned them and hoped he wouldn't rat them out to the Viltrumites. Thragg finds out that the dead bodies are no longer where they are supposed to be. He sends search parties out. He believes that he did kill them all, but there is a nagging feeling in the back of his mind. Meanwhile, Mark finds his way back home only to find his mother, Debbie, dead. She's lying there in a dried pool of her own blood, lifeless and empty. Mark breaks down in grief. He sobs while holding her dead body. Eve, who accompanied him, holds him gently, trying to comfort him. But he still breaks down and sobs, until that grief turns into rage. Even though she tries to stop him, he just flies away. He makes his way towards a new base Thragg has established himself. But before he can meet him, a Viltrumite soldier spots him and beats him down. The fight is brutal. Mark has neither experience nor the age to actually match the strength of this soldier. Maybe it's the effect of being remade by Eve's powers or the grief and rage of his mother's death. But he manages to overpower the soldier, although he's left exhausted. Eve takes his chance to grab him and escape. Because of a huge explosion during that fight, Thragg and the rest of the Viltrumite soldiers quickly found out about the situation. Now they know that everyone that they thought they killed is still alive. But what neither Eve and Mark nor Thragg and his soldiers notice is that a much more annoying creature emerges from that explosion. One that would change the dynamic of this entire conflict forever. With Mark's sudden attack, the new GDA led by Cecil has no option but to go into further hiding. None of them are strong enough to face the Viltrumites, and the only one who can help them fight back is no longer there. So they start planning after establishing their secret base. They can't even get mad at Mark because he becomes their primary source of strength right now. So they make a plan to capture a Viltrumite soldier, restrain him, analyze him to figure out their weakness. They set up a trap with some sonic machines, one similar to the one Cecil installed in Mark's communication device in his previous life. They leak information about Mark's presence as bait. The Viltrumite soldiers come in trying to look for him. But before the trap could be set and Mark could make his move, Levi Angstrom appears. He opens a portal and drags Mark into it. And just like that, the real torture begins. To give everyone a chance to escape, Rex sacrifices himself in an explosion. Cecil loses his shit over losing Mark. Who the heck is that guy? Why did he target Mark? He yelled for answers, but there are none. If we don't have Mark, we don't have anything. We need to save our asses from these space monsters. Fast. We want to, but I am not sure we need to, Robot says from the side as he looks at the data on his screen. What do you mean, Cecil asks, but he doesn't get an answer. A few days later, Mark appears out of the portal, beaten up and guilty about killing Levi, mostly because he doesn't know that Levi is actually alive, rescued just like in the original timeline. Cecil tries to get him back on track, but before Mark can come out of this guilt, the Viltrumites figure out their base. For the next 6 months, the skirmishes between the Viltrumite forces and the GDA intensified. Mark gets stronger through constant fights, and some heroes die. At the same time, him and Eve get a lot closer. I mean a lot. While things are like that, there are a lot of changes in behavior of Earth's citizens. Surprisingly, unlike what Cecil or Mark expected, they don't appear to be suffering, which surprises even Thragg. He noticed that the Earthlings are a lot more accepting of the Viltrumites than he originally thought. With all the anger he held in, he implemented some pretty drastic policies, and they all seem to have worked in his favor. Thragg introduced Viltrumite tech and made it so people of Earth live by their standards. It's surprisingly well assimilated into their daily lives without a problem. All the young women who can be used for breeding more Viltrumites are monitored, and because of this, no one was allowed to disturb them. Crime rate has gone down. They don't tolerate any crimes, and they made quite a few examples to show their intent. Surprisingly, a lot of women on Earth are not actually resistant to being partners of the Viltrumites. BVC, get it? Big Viltrumite. Okay, never mind. At one point in these days, the GDA attacks are causing more damage to their lives than Viltrumites ever could. So the emotions of Earthlings are shifting. They are actually warm to Thragg, who never saw himself as a tyrant. And this sudden change takes him by surprise. The Invincible War takes the world by storm. The GDA has to come out and fight these different versions of Mark, and only then did they realize they don't stand a chance. They lost hope immediately, and one fighter, Mark, who can actually fight against these other versions, is not fighting. With Levi holding Eve hostage, he puts Mark through immense torture, holding him there. Mark, who lost his mother, abandoned by his father, doesn't want to lose Eve as well, even at the cost of the whole world. So he focuses on taking down Levi and that alone. But after being put through the hoops again and again, Angstrom constantly reminds him of the destruction the evil Marks are unleashing upon the world as he stays stuck here. Eve breaks down into sobs and yells, "Mark, for me there's a chance even if I die, but they don't have one. Please leave." Mark, tearing up, leaves the house to fight the Invincibles outside. Levi is surprised. But Mark is hit by an even bigger issue. By the time he reaches the battlefield, there is nothing left for him to do. All the Invincibles are taken care of. Anissa, Thragg, Conquest, Craig, Lucan, and all the other Viltrumite soldiers moved, and they destroyed each and every version of the evil Mark. Mark looks at Conquest, who's closest to him, and he looks at the crowd cheering, "Conquest, Conquest, Conquest!" The old battle-hardened warrior is just as surprised as Mark. The crowd, the people they had enslaved, are actually cheering for him. And not just him. Across the world, other Viltrumites, including Thragg, are getting the same treatment. Then, a stone flew through the air and hit Mark squarely in the face. In the eyes of the Earth's people, Mark and the GDA who failed to save them are now the villains. And the Viltrumites are the heroes. Mark flies away to take care of Eve. While Mark gets the realization that he has become the villain of the planet he's trying to save, Eve and Angstrom have an open-hearted conversation. She uses talk no jutsu. She reminds him that he was originally a pacifist who actively wanted to help humanity. She forces him to realize that his brain was bombarded with memories from hundreds of alternate realities, causing his wires crossed. Eve argues that his misplaced hatred caused mass devastation. Levi changes, but Mark doesn't care. All the anger he accumulated through the humiliation he just suffered, he blames it on Levi and kills him right in front of Eve. Meanwhile, Thragg sits in the throne room alone, looking at Argal's skull. Is this what you lived with? He remembers all the voices of admiration, the eyes full of bright adoration, all directed at him. Thragg only ever felt fear from his subordinates. Any admiration they have is for his strength, not for him. Unlike Earth's people, they praise him for his actions, not his strength. This stirs something deep in him. He thinks of everything that he experienced in the previous timeline, his hatred for Earth, and how it changed his soldiers like Nolan and Craig into such weak-willed people. Now he understands it. He suddenly feels that he can relate to what they went through. Without even realizing it, a sense of protectiveness towards these people stirs within him. So when he gets the news that all the citizens are calling for Mark to be caught and killed, he decides to act on it. He mobilizes all the soldiers with Conquest at the lead, and his mission is to kill Mark Grayson. Mark makes it easy for Conquest to find him. He doesn't bother hiding anymore. He can't escape the fact that he is now considered the evil one. On top of that, he's overcome by more guilt about killing Levi. Eve accompanies him as they take a fight to relax. She tries to convince him to go back to the base because it's dangerous. That's when Conquest finds him. The fight is brutal, just like their first fight in their previous timeline. The commotion they cause quickly gathers Thragg, Anissa, and other Viltrumite generals and drones they brought along. Upon Thragg's orders, the whole fight is being broadcast across the world. Conquest and Mark go at it. It plays out like last time. Conquest humiliates Mark. He beats him down and stands over him. He whispers in his ear, "I am so lonely. All the other Viltrumites are scared of me. No one talks to me. No one wants to be my friend. They think I am unstable. They send me from planet to planet, forcing me to commit atrocities in their name. As I get better, they fear me more. I am a victim of my own success. Until I came to Earth. Here, my name is not just a tool for their purpose anymore. Here, Conquest is a symbol. I am a savior, an object of their admiration, and I'm not letting you take it away." At that moment, Eve intervenes and tries to stop him from killing Mark. Conquest strikes her down with a single punch. Mark rages and fights back, overpowering Conquest completely. Conquest dies. Mark, bloody and beaten, walks towards Eve. Anissa looks at him with eyes wide, biting her lip. Until now, she's the only Viltrumite who didn't participate in the breeding project. Now something shifts in her. Mark cries over Eve, whose power activates and forms her again. With Mark hugging her tightly, the powers extend to him, and he heals as well. Thragg and the other Viltrumites are shocked. The secret behind everyone's revival finally laid bare. Thragg walks towards them both and extends his hand. "I respect your strength. With all the world watching, I am offering you a place among the Viltrumites. I will wipe the slate clean. I will forgive your crimes. Let's coexist like the Viltrumites are doing with humanity." Eve looks at Mark expectantly. "My offer extends to the rest of the resistance as well. There is no point in this fighting. With Conquest's death, let's bury the hatchet." "You absolute monster!" Mark attacks Thragg. Thragg takes the punch without even flinching. "Big mistake," Thragg says. Mark screams and fights, while Thragg remains completely defensive. "You are a monster. You don't belong here. You only make people suffer." Thragg overpowers Mark and says, "I'm not sure the people of Earth agree." Anissa steps in and drags Mark off to prison. While in prison, Mark doesn't know what is happening across the world, but But he is frustrated, stewing in his anger. As if that's not enough, Anissa visits him one day and asks him, "Where have you been all my life?" "What do you want?" Mark asks back. "You." And she has her way with him on the prison floor. Mark's anger only increases. Then arrives Thragg. "I guess she does like you," he says to Mark. Mark doesn't respond. He just wants to kill Thragg. He struggles to get out of the restraints. Thragg shows him a video. In it, Thragg stands and addresses the world. "I did not come to this world to be its tyrant, as a conqueror, but Earth has changed me, as it did other Viltrumites. My people found peace on Earth with their families. So did I while protecting you. That's why I'm offering the GDA a chance to coexist with us. This is a peace offering. Viltrumites will not do anything harmful to Earth. I thought Earth would be our salvation, and it turned out to be exactly that. We will try our best to protect it along with you." Mark is surprised. He struggles even more, but the struggle fades when he sees the next clip. Cecil, Robot, and even Eve stand across from Thragg as they sign a peace treaty. There is no longer a resistance. "I am giving you the last chance to join me," Thragg offers. Eve enters and looks at Mark. "Please accept, Mark," she pleads. "How can you betray me?" Mark yells. A few days pass. Mark doesn't agree to sign any proposal and stubbornly holds his ground. Thragg strangely doesn't kill him in this time. While things are like this, a portal opens up in front of Mark. Robot and Cecil step out and remove his restraints. It turns out they never truly surrendered to Thragg. They were working against him while pretending to be part of his truce. Mark escapes with them and they teleport to the Coalition's ship where Nolan, Alan, Thetis, Space Racer, and the rest of their forces are waiting. Thetis insists they attack the Viltrumites with the Scourge virus and wipe them out immediately. Nolan objects, and Alan backs him up, warning that the virus could kill humans too. Surprisingly, Mark is the one who agrees immediately. Robot is stunned by the shift in Mark's attitude. He assumed Thragg was still a villain, so he followed Cecil's plan. But now he sees that he was wrong to have trusted Mark so easily. Robot quietly sends a message. Nolan moves to stop Mark by force, but Thetis intervenes. Mark seizes the Scourge virus blaster and bolts out of the ship, flying back toward Earth. The rest follow. The Viltrumites detect the disturbance, and a battle erupts in the sky. Thragg arrives with a small team and once again offers Nolan and Mark a chance to walk away, which Mark refuses. Space Racer, Ranar, and Alan join the clash, but the Coalition forces are too small. Thragg ends up locked in a one-on-one with Mark, while Thetis pins Nolan down, and Alan is freed when Space Racer's laser cuts through the Viltrumites, restraining him. The three of them gang up on Thragg. Mark takes his chance and hits him with a Scourge virus blaster shot. Thragg freezes for a second as he realizes what has happened. He grits his teeth, rips Thetis' head off, then breaks Alan with a single punch. He turns to Mark, ready to kill him too, then hesitates. "You are ready to fight me to death to protect these people. Now, just to kill me, you're risking everyone on Earth." His question cuts deep. Mark's guilt and confusion crash over him all at once, and he just stops. The rest of the Viltrumite forces arrive and capture everyone. Thragg is quarantined, and Mark surrenders, accepting his fate. This is what would happen if Thragg gets a second chance and turns good. But what would have happened if Emperor Mark came to the Viltrumite War?